Hello and welcome to In Focus program. Today's topic of discussion is why is India's workforce male dominated? Points of discussion will be news, labor force participation rate, why LFPR matters, continuing decline, global laggard, key takeaways and practice questions. First of all, moving on to the background of the news. As per the data released by the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, India's labor force participation rate or LFPR fell to 39.5% in the last financial year 2022 to 23 that ended in March. The LFPR for men stood at a 7-year low of 66%, while that of women was pegged at a mere 8.8%. This is the lowest since 2016 to 2017. The data depicts why India's workforce is becoming increasingly male-dominated and the sorry state of women employment in India. Now let's discuss about LFPR, that is labor force participation rate. The data on employment and unemployment is collected through periodic labor force survey, that is PLFS. It is conducted by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation since 2017-18. The labor force participation rate is an estimate of an economy's active workforce. It is the share of the working age population aged 15 years and above that is employed or unemployed, willing and looking for employment. Now, why LFPR matters? The unemployment rate is a good way to assess the stress in the job market if the proportion of people looking for work is high and stable. Both government and general public is very focused on the soaring unemployment rates in the economy. The unemployment rate is the share of people who are unemployed despite looking for work. A low and falling LFPR is never a good sign for a developing economy because it shows that despite low levels of income, its workers are opting out of the jobs market. Typically, this happens when workers fail to get a job for long periods of time, get discouraged and decide to sit out of the labor force. A positive demographic dividend drives economic growth only when the young population is able to find a job. Now let's discuss about continuing decline. The LFPR has been falling in a secular manner since 2016-17 and has hit its lowest in 2022-23. It is noteworthy that the fall has happened despite the fast growth rate of the economy. For instance, the GDP grew by 7.2% in 2022-23. India's female LFPR has fallen to just 8.8% in financial year 23. In other words, more than 90% of all working age women in India don't even look for a job. Now let's discuss about global laggard. It has been admitted by the CMIE that its measure of assessing LFPR are more stringent than others. The International Labour Organization pegged India's LFPR at 49% for 2022, which was distinctly higher than CMIE's 40% for 2022. However, even by ILO standards, India's LFPR lagged far behind other countries. Now lastly, let's discuss about the key takeaways. Regardless of the rate of GDP growth, the decline in LFPR is unabated. The data shows that the bulk of the decline happened before the COVID pandemic. This was the time when the economy was decelerating sharply. The GDP in 2019-20 grew by less than 4%. And India's workforce is becoming increasingly male-dominated, which is clearly depicted by India's starkly low female LFPR. Now it's time for the practice question. First of all, prelims question. Consider the following statements about labor force participation rate. 1. LFPR is the share of working age population in the economy. 2. It is released by National Statistical Organization. 3. The data on employment and unemployment is collected through periodic labor force survey. Which of the following statements is or are correct? 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3? And now mains question. Will the low female labor force participation rate be a hindrance in the economic growth of India? Comment. So that's all for today. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.